Many Japanese elders live in homes with half, or even a third, the possessions of Western seniors. Their spaces feel lighter, calmer, and easier to live in. Now, it's important to be clear, not every Japanese elder follows this way of life. But among those who do, there are lessons worth noticing, because they challenge us to rethink what we hold on to. And here's the twist, what they let go of isn't always the obvious things. These aren't just extra pans, stacks of linens, or piles of old clothes. Instead, they release things that weigh deeper, objects tied to outdated identities, old regrets, unneeded status symbols, and even memories that no longer serve. These are choices that go beyond tidying a room. They are choices about what kind of life you want to live in your later years. For many Western seniors, the habit is to hold on, believing every item is proof of a memory, an achievement, or a duty to family. But Japanese elders who practice this way flip the story. They see letting go as a gift, not just for themselves but for the loved ones who will come after them. Imagine how freeing it would be to walk into your home and know that every item there truly has meaning, purpose, and joy. That's what this journey is about. Stick with me, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because some of these may shock you, and some may even change the way you see your own home. Meet Haru Takemoto, a 74-year-old retired school principal from Kyoto, Japan. For decades, Haru's life was structured around responsibility, leading classrooms, mentoring young teachers, and carrying the expectations of his community. His days were full of paperwork, meetings, and carefully organized schedules. Yet when he stepped into retirement, something shifted. Suddenly, his house felt too full. Not just full of objects, but of history, old lesson plans stacked in drawers, piles of gifts from students, furniture that no longer served him but reminded him of the status he once held. At first, he felt proud of these items, as if they were physical proof of a meaningful career. But one day, while clearing a shelf, he asked himself a simple question. Was he living for the memories of yesterday, or for the freedom of today? That question led him to adopt a principle that now defines his later years. Every item has a season. When its season ends, I let it go, so I can live lighter today. For Haru, releasing an item doesn't mean rejecting his past. Instead, it means honoring that the past has already done its work. A worn teaching manual no longer needs to sit on his shelf. It already shaped generations of students. A chair with a broken leg doesn't need to linger in the corner. It already carried countless family gatherings. By letting these go, Haru doesn't feel emptier. He feels clearer. His home breathes, and so does he. For Western seniors, this idea may sound either inspiring or unsettling. After all, many of us grow up believing that to keep something is to honor it, while letting go might feel like betrayal. But Haru flips that script. He shows that letting go can be the truest way of honoring an object's season. And so, I ask you directly, does that idea free you, or frighten you? Tell us in the comments. Because how you answer may reveal not just how you treat your things, but how you treat your own season of life. Item 1. The weight of gaman, silent endurance. In Japanese culture, there is a word called gaman. It means to endure silently, to push through discomfort without complaint. For much of their lives, elders in Japan practice this virtue, enduring long work hours, family obligations, or the small discomforts of daily life. But something changes for many of them after retirement. They begin to see that endurance, while noble in youth, does not always serve them in later years. And so, they release it. They stop keeping chairs that hurt their backs. They let go of shoes that pinch their feet. They even distance themselves from relationships that only bring heaviness. They toss away the silent endurance that once defined them, because now their health, safety, and peace matter more than appearances. Contrast that with many Western seniors, who often continue living by making do. A broken armchair is left in the corner because it was expensive once, or because someone might fix it someday. Shoes that rub blisters are shoved in the closet, saved for yard work, even though they will never truly be worn again. Even toxic friendships or strained family ties are carried forward, because of obligation or fear of seeming ungrateful. The result? Pain is carried into their golden years, not just physical, but emotional as well. Haru, our retired principal from Kyoto, remembers giving away a pair of stiff leather shoes he once wore every day. They symbolized status at school, but now they only caused pain in his feet. At first, he hesitated, thinking, what if I need them for a formal event? But then he laughed. If I show up limping, is that respect, or is that just suffering? By releasing them, he chose dignity and comfort over duty. That simple act was a turning point for him. No more gaman with objects that hurt his daily life. So I ask you, why carry pain into your golden years when you can carry peace instead? Look around your home. What are you silently enduring right now? A chair you never sit on, a mattress that leaves you sore, clothes that no longer fit but whisper guilt from the closet. These are not just objects. They are symbols of endurance you no longer owe to anyone. If Haru can let go of his painful shoes, what can you release today to lighten your own steps? Tell us in the comments, what's one thing in your home that brings you more pain than peace? Item 2. Status symbols of the past. In Japan, many elders eventually learn to part with the objects that once shouted their status to the world. A luxury handbag bought in their 40s, a tailored suit worn for promotions, even a shiny car that once turned heads, these things served a purpose in their season of ambition. But when that season passes, clinging to these items only keeps them tethered to an identity that no longer defines who they are. Instead of polishing the past, they choose to polish the present. They prefer comfort over prestige, simplicity over pretense, and freedom over the weight of old symbols. In the West, however, it is common to see seniors hold tightly to these relics of status. The expensive suit remains in the back of the closet, rarely worn but carefully preserved just in case. The handbag is displayed in a glass case, though it has not touched a shoulder in decades. The car in the garage, once a gleaming prize, sits covered in dust, consuming space and money for repairs. These objects are not serving daily life. They are serving memory, or worse, ego. They become silent trophies of who we once were, but they rarely help us enjoy who we are now. Haru once owned an elegant fountain pen gifted to him when he became principal. 4 years, it was his companion at meetings, a symbol of authority. After retirement, he noticed it stayed tucked away in a drawer, unused. One day, he gave it to a younger teacher starting her career. "This pen is for someone who still needs it," he said. Letting it go did not erase his decades of leadership, it honored them. In fact, the release allowed that symbol to continue its journey instead of gathering dust. Haru says he felt lighter that day, as if he had closed one chapter gracefully and opened another. So ask yourself, what status symbols are you keeping? That expensive handbag you never carry, the watch you never wind, the car that hasn't seen the road in years, do they remind you of life, or do they lock you into the past? There is dignity in knowing you no longer need to prove yourself through things. Your worth is not in the label stitched into your clothing or the emblem on your car. It is in the wisdom, resilience, and love you carry into this season of life. Are you keeping a symbol of who you were, or making room for who you are now? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your story may inspire someone else to finally release their own trophies of the past. Item 3. Hikidashi-zoko, drawer-bottom things. In Japan, there is a phrase rarely heard in the West, hikidashi-zoko, literally, the bottom of the drawer. It describes the hidden objects that never see the light of day, tucked away where hands rarely reach. Many Japanese elders believe these items carry a subtle weight on the heart. They are not just forgotten trinkets, they are unfinished whispers, reminders of things we once thought mattered but never truly needed. For that reason, elders who embrace decluttering traditions intentionally empty these drawers, sort them, and let the forgotten objects go. The drawer becomes light, and so does the mind. For Western seniors, however, the drawer bottom often expands into an attic, a garage, or even a rented storage unit. Boxes sealed decades ago gather dust in silence. There might be half-broken gadgets, piles of receipts from long-closed bank accounts, or faded souvenirs from trips that blur together. We forget the details, yet the weight remains. Even if you rarely see them, those hidden items still occupy mental space. They whisper, "Deal with me later," every time you open a closet, every time you pass by a garage you no longer enter. Over the years, later becomes a burden passed down to children who must face mountains of drawer-bottom things when we are gone. Haru remembers the day he pulled open the lowest drawer of his old desk. Inside were lesson notes from 30 years ago, receipts from retirement parties, and small tokens given by colleagues whose names he could barely recall. None of these items brought him joy now, only a faint unease that he had been avoiding them. He took a deep breath, sorted what truly mattered, a single letter from a student who became a teacher, and released the rest. He said afterward, "It felt like removing a stone I didn't know I was carrying in my chest." And that's the hidden truth about hikidashi-zoko. Clutter you can't see still clutters your spirit. Clearing it is not about neatness, it is about restoring energy. So, I ask you, what's sitting in your drawer bottom, out of sight, but not out of mind? A box of tangled cords? A stack of papers you'll never read? A bag of mismatched socks? Choose one hidden pile, bring it into the light, and decide, does it deserve to walk with you into this season of life, or is it time to let it go? Tell us in the comments what's hiding in your drawer bottom. You might be surprised how many others carry the same invisible weight. Item 4. Objects that don't align with Ikigai. In Japan, there is a guiding idea called Ikigai. Loosely translated, it means a reason for being. It doesn't have to be something huge like a career or a world-changing mission. For elders, Ikigai often rests in the small joys that make each day meaningful, tending a bonsai tree, walking to the temple with friends, or preparing a simple bowl of rice with care. Because this sense of purpose is so central, many Japanese elders let go of items that no longer connect to it. If an object does not support their daily joy, it quietly exits their home. Unused golf clubs, dusty sewing machines, or forgotten instruments don't sit around as proof of someday. They are released to make space for what truly sustains their spirit right now. For Western seniors, the story often looks different. Instead of being guided by Ikigai, many keep objects tied to hobbies or roles they once loved, but no longer practice. The piano sits untouched because arthritis makes playing painful, but it stays as a silent reminder of what used to be. The treadmill gathers dust in the corner, serving more as guilt than inspiration. A closet overflows with art supplies, fishing gear, or fabric rolls that haven't been touched in years. These items don't spark joy anymore. They spark regret, or worse, a quiet shame that we aren't using them enough. They become proof of a self we feel we should be, rather than the self we are now. Haru once had a full calligraphy set, brushes, ink stones, scrolls, everything he needed. In his 50s, he loved the meditative act of writing characters with perfect strokes. But over time, his hands grew less steady, and the practice stopped bringing him peace. The set sat untouched for years, tucked in a wooden box. One day, he decided to pass it to a neighbor's granddaughter who had just begun learning calligraphy. "It belongs in hands that find joy in it now," he said. By releasing it, he didn't lose his love for the art. He simply acknowledged that his Ikigai had shifted to gardening, where he still found beauty and calm every morning. This is the deeper lesson. Holding onto items out of guilt does not keep passion alive, it keeps guilt alive. True joy comes from aligning your space with your present purpose. So let me ask you, are you keeping proof of a hobby you no longer love, or freeing space for what lights you up now? Look around your home. Which object once brought joy but now only stares back with disappointment? Could releasing it open room for a new passion, one that fits the season of life you are in today? Drop your answer in the comments, because someone else may need the courage of your example to finally let go. Item 5. Outdated shrines of achievement. In many Japanese households, elders reach a stage where they begin quietly releasing the symbols of careers and roles that once defined them. Awards, certificates, and trophies that were once displayed with pride are gently set aside. The belief is simple: the achievement lives in the heart, not in the paper or the plaque. What mattered was the journey, the relationships, the lessons learned, not the dust-covered frame. By letting go, they honor the season that has ended and clear space to live the one they are in now. For them, a home should reflect who they are today, not just who they were decades ago. Western seniors often approach this differently. Many still keep boxes filled with diplomas from school, retirement plaques from the office, or bowling trophies from a league long gone. These items sit in attics, closets, or display cabinets, forming what could be called shrines of achievement. They aren't harmful in themselves, but over time they can weigh down the spirit. Each time you pass that old award, it whispers about who you used to be instead of celebrating who you are now. Instead of freeing the future, it traps you in a museum of the past. Haru, our retired principal from Kyoto, once had shelves lined with recognition. Certificates for his years of service, framed letters of appreciation, even a gold watch given at his farewell ceremony. 4 months after retiring, he walked past those shelves and felt torn, half proud, half restless. One day he asked himself, "Do I need the paper to remember the life, or is the life itself enough?" That question guided his next action. He kept one certificate and the watch, but released the rest. He realized that his true achievement was in the former students who still came to visit, not in the ink fading on a certificate. This doesn't mean achievements should be forgotten. It means they don't have to live forever on your shelves or in boxes for your children to sort through later. Your life's value is not in the trophies, it's in the impact, the love, and the wisdom you carry forward. So ask yourself honestly, are your shelves filled with outdated shrines to the person you once were? Could you honor your past with one symbolic item and free the rest? Here's the real hook to reflect on. Do you need the paper to remember the life, or is the life itself enough? Tell us in the comments if there's one old achievement you've been holding on to, and whether you're ready to release it. Your story may inspire another senior to finally free themselves from a shrine that no longer serves them. Item 6. Inheritance that isn't wanted, shūkatsu. In Japan, a growing number of elders are embracing a practice called shūkatsu, end-of-life decluttering. It's not about giving up on life, it's about taking responsibility for what will remain after you're gone. Elders who practice shūkatsu look honestly at their possessions and ask, will my children or grandchildren want this? Or will it only cause them stress? With that simple but powerful question, they release items their families will not value, massive wardrobes, ornate porcelain sets, or entire collections that once felt precious but no longer fit the lifestyle of the next generation. For them, letting go is an act of love. It spares their children the heavy emotional and physical labor of sorting through mountains of things later. In the West, however, seniors often keep these same items under the assumption that their children will want them someday. A grand dining table that hasn't seen a family dinner in years, boxes of fine china kept for holidays, or shelves of figurines collected over decades, all of these are saved with the thought, I'll pass this down. But more and more, younger generations live in smaller homes, apartments, or minimalist lifestyles. They don't want the heavy furniture, the china, or the collections. What was meant to be a gift becomes a burden, a weight they feel guilty discarding. Instead of receiving love, they inherit stress. Haru faced this with his own collection of teaching memorabilia. He had shelves of books, piles of old reports, and decorative gifts from students. He imagined his children passing them down, until one day his daughter gently told him, "Dad, we don't have space for all this. What I really want is your stories, not your things." That was the turning point. Haru began practicing shūkatsu. He donated the books to a local library, passed along a few special gifts to former students, and kept only one notebook filled with personal reflections. He said afterward, "I realized the best inheritance I can leave is not objects, but memories and freedom." So here's the question, are you leaving love or a heavy inheritance? Think about the attic, the garage, the china cabinet. Are those things really a gift, or are they just delaying difficult decisions for your children? What if the most loving act is to release what they don't need, and give them the gift of space, peace, and only the treasures that truly matter? Tell us in the comments, what's one item you once thought of leaving behind, but now realize your family may not want? Your honesty could help another senior see that letting go today is the greatest gift of tomorrow. Item 7. Silent storage of regret. Every home has places where light rarely reaches, attics, basements, or the back of closets. In Japan, many elders practicing mindful decluttering look at these shadowed corners and recognize something deeper. They often contain not just forgotten things, but regrets. Old love letters from relationships that ended in heartbreak, diaries filled with painful chapters, or objects tied to mistakes they would rather not relive. For them, keeping such items is like leaving a wound unhealed. That is why they make the conscious choice to release them. They see it as an act of emotional housekeeping, clearing the spirit as much as the space. In Western households, it is common to find boxes sealed decades ago, never opened but never discarded. Inside might be photographs of strained marriages, mementos of friendships that dissolved, or possessions connected to dreams that were never fulfilled. The box sits untouched, but its presence is felt. Each time it's noticed, even in passing, it stirs a quiet unease. I'll deal with that someday. That someday rarely comes, and the regret remains stored like a ghost. Instead of healing, the wound is preserved, sometimes passed down to children who have no connection to the pain but inherit the burden of sorting through it. Haru once found a bundle of letters in his attic from a time before he married. They were from a woman he once loved deeply but could not marry. For years, he had avoided them, thinking it would be too painful to throw them away. But one day he realized, keeping the letters didn't honor the memory, it only reopened the loss. So, with a quiet bow of respect, he burned them in a small ceremony in his garden. As the paper turned to ash, he felt an unexpected relief. He said, "The love was real, but the season has ended. By letting go, I honor both the memory and my present life." This is the heart of the lesson. Regret does not need to live in boxes. Holding onto painful reminders does not protect you. It anchors you to a storm long past. So ask yourself, are you preserving healing or keeping wounds alive in a box? What's sitting silently in your attic, whispering of sorrow every time you think about opening it? You have the power to choose. Maybe it's time to let go, not to erase the past, but to honor that you survived it and no longer need its shadow. Tell us in the comments, what's one object from your past that no longer brings healing, only heaviness? Your courage may inspire another to finally lay their own regrets to rest. Item 8. Seasonal attachments. One of the subtle but powerful habits in many Japanese households is the rhythm of the seasons. Elders there embrace the flow of time by cycling items in and out as each season ends. Summer fans are stored away when autumn arrives. Heavy blankets are folded and put aside when spring warmth returns. Even dishes and small decorations follow this rhythm. Cherry blossom plates in spring, earthy tones in fall. This isn't just about tidiness, it's about harmony. By letting go of what belongs to a finished season, they keep their homes light, current, and alive. Their spaces feel like they are breathing along with nature itself. In contrast, many Western seniors keep every season stacked together, year after year. Closets overflow with Halloween costumes, Christmas wreaths, Easter baskets, 4th of July flags, all piled into plastic bins that live in attics or garages. Old decorations from decades ago mix with new ones, many never used but still too good to throw out. Instead of celebrating a season when it arrives, the clutter of every season sits heavy, taking up valuable space and energy. Often, these bins are never even opened, yet they remain, year after year, silently demanding storage space. What was meant to bring joy has become a permanent weight. Haru and his wife live differently. Each year when the cherry blossoms bloom, they hang a small scroll with painted petals in their entryway. When the blossoms fade, the scroll is rolled up and stored carefully. It will not return until the next spring. If it stays out all year, it loses its beauty, Haru explains. By honoring each season and then letting it go, they experience the joy fully, and then move forward lightly. For them, the rotation of objects mirrors the rotation of life itself, fleeting, precious, and renewed each year. Now think about your own home. Do your closets celebrate the season, or store every season at once? What bins are stacked high with wreaths, centerpieces, or costumes you haven't touched in years? Are you really honoring those holidays, or are you simply preserving a burden? Here's the truth, you don't need to save every seasonal item to hold on to the memories. A single ornament, a photo of a decorated table, or one cherished heirloom may be enough. The rest can be released to make room for the life you're living now. Drop a comment below. What's one seasonal box in your home that could be lightened today? Your answer might encourage someone else to finally free their home from the weight of every season at once. Item 9. Extra faces, masks of obligation. In Japan, elders who embrace simplicity often talk about releasing their tateme, the public face they once wore to please others. Throughout their working years, they kept clothes that fit certain roles, accepted gifts they didn't truly need, and maintained habits that projected politeness more than authenticity. But in later life, many make the choice to step out from behind those masks. They donate the stiff suits they wore to office ceremonies, let go of tableware they never liked but kept out of obligation, and stop forcing themselves into traditions that no longer bring joy. By releasing these extra faces, they move toward a home and a life that reflect who they genuinely are, not who others expected them to be. Western seniors often struggle more with this. A wardrobe filled with dresses or jackets that were worn once for social events still lingers because what if someone notices I don't have it next time? A china set sits untouched in a cabinet, preserved for entertaining guests who rarely come, yet it stays, because it was a wedding gift, or everyone in the family expects me to keep it. Sometimes the heaviest clutter isn't physical weight, but the social expectations attached to it. Every time you open that closet or pass that cabinet, you aren't seeing objects, you're seeing obligations. Haru once told the story of a set of teacups his colleagues gave him when he retired. The gesture was kind, but the cups were delicate and formal, not his style. For years, he displayed them because he didn't want to seem ungrateful. But every time he walked past them, he felt a twinge. These cups belonged more to the image of Principal Takemoto than to Haru, the grandfather who now preferred sturdy mugs for green tea in the garden. One day, he decided to give them to a local cultural center where they could actually be used. "I want my home to hold me, not the role I left behind," he explained. This is the question we all must face. Are we living surrounded by objects that reflect our truest selves, or are we still wearing masks of obligation? Are you dressing for others, or for yourself? Is that china set really for your family, or for the neighbor's approval? Does that jacket you keep just in case truly serve you, or is it only preserving a face you no longer need to show? You've earned the right, after 60, to live without masks. To surround yourself only with things that reflect your authentic self. So, tell us in the comments, what's one mask of obligation you're ready to remove from your home? Your honesty may help another senior finally step into their truest, lightest season of life. As we reach the end of this journey, let's return to Haru, our retired principal from Kyoto. Standing in his sunlit living room, he looks around at the space that has grown calmer, brighter, and freer over the years. There are fewer objects now, but each one matters. A family photo on the wall, a low table polished smooth from daily use, a single scroll hanging with the season's design. He smiles as he reflects, "When I let go, I don't lose the memory. I gain space to live it again, with my family, here and now." For Haru, every release has been an act of opening, not just a drawer or a closet, but his heart. This is the essence of what Japanese elders who practice mindful decluttering can teach us. It isn't about empty rooms or stark minimalism. It isn't about copying someone else's culture exactly. It's about asking a deeper question: what do I really need in this season of my life? Haru reminds us that not every Japanese elder lives this way. But those who do show us a profound truth. Life after 60 isn't about clutching tighter to the things we once thought defined us. It's about carrying less, so we can walk lighter into tomorrow. Less weight on our shelves, less weight in our hearts, less burden left behind for those we love. Now, imagine what that could look like for you. Walking into your living room and seeing only what brings joy. Opening a closet and feeling calm, not overwhelmed. Knowing that your children will inherit not boxes of confusion, but clear, intentional treasures chosen with love. That transformation isn't far away. It begins with a single decision to let go of what no longer serves you. So here's my challenge. Which of these 9 lessons surprised you most? Was it the drawer-bottom things? The shrines of achievement? Or perhaps the masks of obligation? Share it in the comments, because your story might give another senior the courage to begin their own journey. And before you go, don't forget this: your best years deserve to feel light and free. If this video inspired you, hit like, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to Wise Aging Seniors. Together, let's make these years not just about aging, but about living with clarity, joy, and peace.